Hello and welcome to the channel. And for today's video, we are going to check out the new Hasbro Marvel Legends Weapon X. So, this figure came out recently. It went on pre-order, I want to say in early July or late June. And it had an estimated delivery date of around September, I believe. But it got pushed up to early August. So this figure I ordered through Amazon Mexico, so I got it here directly delivered to my home here in Mexico, and I believe it's the same for the States. So since I got this on pre-order, I don't know if it's already out on stores or not. I haven't seen any uh, pictures or threads or anything of people finding it in stores yet. But if you did put a pre-order on it, you should probably be getting the figure right now. And the figure itself is a pretty standard looking Wolverine. I'll bring in a few ones to compare in just later on in the video. But as you can see from the packaging here, um, you can see I already have the extra head. The figure comes standard with the helmet on. We can take a look at this right now. You can see his mutton chops only come down on his cheeks. They don't go up on the sideburns. The helmet itself is just a molded pearly gray plastic with only the red painted for the visor and whatever this thing is on his cheek. But yeah, we can do a lot of stuff here in terms of like customizing the figure by adding colors to the wiring and all of the doodads and diodes and all of that that's on the helmet. So the figure is based largely on the Weapon X miniseries drawn by um, the legendary Barry Windsor-Smith, which the alternate unmasked, unhelmeted figure is clearly based on. From the moments I saw the renders and the reveals, I thought, oh wow, they did an amazing job of replicating Barry Windsor-Smith's art or Wolverine, the look for Logan in action figure form. Whoever the sculptor is did an amazing job. As far as the figure goes, it's all right. I mean, um, you do have all of these. I mean, in terms of like accuracy, it's pretty accurate to what we got in the source material, right? He's got all of these little controls and doohickeys that are connected to the belt. However, the this strap that he has on him on his upper torso, it connects to nothing. This all of this is it connects to nothing. So I don't know if this was meant to be like hooked up to some of the wiring, or what the purpose is of this backpack without a backpack and it just has the straps on. So but yeah, this is just a loose piece that kind of gets in the way of the figure. The belt with all of the controls and all of these, this is loose. Obviously, you can turn it around. I believe, yes, I believe standard this comes on his sides like this. But I believe the more accurate way to place the belt is having this large control piece covering his his groin, and this one up on the side by the hip. In terms of like but everything else about the figure, I mean, I don't know if it's reused from some other figure, other Wolverine figures, and it's just uh, molded in skin colored plastic. The You can see how they digitally painted the hairs on his chest and on the forearms, or on the arms in general, and a little bit on the hands. But yeah, that his sculpt came out pretty accurate. In terms of posability, like I said, these straps get in the way because they really don't serve any purpose. The butterflies on the on the figure are a little stiff at first, so you need to work on them to get them to move freely. However, you can see the range going backwards, you get virtually all of the run, but going forward, it's a little limited. You don't get all of the full range. It's almost as if it's almost in a neutral, very little moving forward from the neutral spot, and that's on both sides. This one does get the full range going backwards, but moving forwards, very limited, very limited. So there's room to improve with. You can see, I'm doing, yeah, no, there's almost no room to move this forward. So yeah, there's room for improving this and customizing the figure later on. As far as he does have the ab crunch, which works perfectly fine. Forwards, very limited backwards. He does have a waist twist and the typical thigh cut up top, double jointed knees, full range on the feet with the ankle rocker. One of the things that I did notice though is like the groin area here is a little. I want to say that the legs are a little too close. I would have preferred that they were split out a little bit wider. You can see how the transition from the hip to the thighs is not a seamless one. So I think they could have given this figure slightly wider thighs. Now, one of the things that I noticed on my figure, the gap on the hip, yeah, on this portion of the thigh, on this side, you can see the cutout is a little wider than the one on this leg. I took a measurement, and the opening on this leg here is 5 millimeters, and the opening on this one is 6. Here you can see that the ball joint is a little more hidden, while here it's a little more exposed. What happened is, or what this does is that the figure, if you start posing the figure a lot, and as the plastic around the ball joint starts to get a little softer, the figure is going to start to, if you're going to have them like in a wide open stance, the hip is going to start slipping and slipping and slipping and slipping until it gives way. I had to heat up the figure, the hip, and almost like pinch, and I heated up this part right here and pinched in the plastic until it cooled down, and then reinserted the leg, and now it's a little more stiff, right? But the more that you manipulate the figure to pose, if you have him like a typical Wolverine attack pose where he's got the split legs and is ready to pounce and all of that, you may run the risk that in the future, especially right now that we're in the middle of the summer, as the room temperature starts to pick up and heat up everything in your room, the plastic may get a little softer, and thus the connection of the hip with the ball joint may get looser. And as you have your figure posed in a split leg, the leg is going to start to give way, and he's going to end up, maybe tipping over. So I don't know. It's just something that I noticed on my copy. I don't know if all of the copies are like that. But that's, like I said, that's just what I noticed on mine. To replace the head, it's pretty easy. All you gotta do first, though, is you gotta unhook this cable right here. This is how the head these things on his face are attached to. There's a gap. This is removable. There's a gap right there behind the hair that hides behind the hair. There you can see the little uh, rail canal, whatever you want to call it. So if you want to display this Wolverine without that piece, but like I said, the mutton chops don't connect to the sideburns. So if that bothers you, you can keep this on, right? Like this. And the standard head, like I said, this is the standard head that comes with the figure, and the cable is connected here on the plug right there. This cable is a little probably susceptible to stressing and probably breaking off if you're not careful, and if you're doing swaps back and forth. There's a possibility that this part may tear off at one point, so just be careful when reinserting the plug into either the helmet or this piece right here. So that's how the figure comes standard in the box. The claws are molded differently than other Wolverines that I have in my collection. Like I said, I'll bring out a few to compare, but all of these are removable. You can remove, and you're left with the holes in the plugs here on the fist. But all of these are removable. And the only reason I mention this is if you plan on painting these chrome or silver, it's just easier to paint if you got some alligator clips, you can just put the clip on the plugs, and you'll be able to paint the claws that way, which I have done on other Wolverines. So there you go. And like I said, so as far as the other accessories that comes with the figure, let me just pull it. This is how I typically preserve some of the card backs. I cut out through the bottom. So here you have, he comes with an extra set of hands with claws, but with the hands open. I haven't even taken these out to look at them until right now. So you can see that these are a little more expressive, almost like when he's freshly released from the tank and he's looking at his hands like, oh my god, what's happened to me, and the claws pop out for the first time and he freaks out. So that's kind of like the expressive nature of these hands. And then you got your hands without claws. And again, you only get one fist and an expressive open hand here. So there you go. So give me 1 second and let me bring out a few more Wolverines. Okay, so up first we have one of the most recent Wolverine releases that we've got in the Marvel Legends line, which is the Secret Wars Wolverine. And we can see how he compares to Weapon X. So you can see that Weapon X has longer arms. Yeah, he definitely has longer arms. But like I mentioned earlier about the hips, you can see that on the Secret Wars Wolverine, how the transition from the hip to the thigh and all of this is a little more seamless compared to the Wolverine, where the part of the hip juts out just a little bit too much. The claws obviously these ones have the molded slots where the claws snicked out, versus the more ungloved version where the claws come out directly out of the back of the hand, so you won't see the slots like on gloved versions of Wolverine. And like I mentioned, on why I mentioned the removal of the claws from the hand. This is what I did on this version. You can see that I painted these claws silver, well, chrome silver, to get a shine on them. Then we have the Wolverine / Logan from the 2-pack that came with Sabretooth. So you can probably go from Weapon X. We're gonna go in like some sort of canonical order. You can transition from this guy to this guy. I believe the head sculpt that is currently on the figure is the one from that came on the Secret Wars, the unmasked Wolverine. I believe so. But then you can see how different these claws are from the one on Weapon X. These ones are flat blades. You can see right there, almost looking like kitchen knives, right? And again, I also painted those in the chrome. And these ones pop out from the back of the hand, similarly to these ones, although a little more closer to the versions from the movie, where they come out from the front of the knuckles instead of the top of the hand. And then here we have the X-Men '97 Wolverine, which the Secret Wars. It's a little bit of a repaint of, a little rework, as well. But I believe they're basically the same figure. And even though I guess it works. I showed you the Wolverine that came with the Sabretooth 2-pack, so let me bring in. Let me just finish off. Okay, here he looks next to the Sabretooth. I hope that we get a Sabretooth in the X-Men '97 line in the future. The only thing about this Sabretooth figure that I really don't like is the size of the head sculpt. If it were, I don't know, like 10, 15% smaller, I think it would look perfect. And typically the animated version of Sabretooth, um, they would draw him super huge with a tiny head. So hopefully when they release an X-Men '97 version of Sabretooth, I wouldn't even mind if they reuse the same body, although the body could use an update because this one doesn't have butterfly joints. But they could, the same stature and everything, just get a head sculpt that would be just a little bit smaller. So there we go. So yeah, here we have the Weapon X. So it's a fine figure. Like I said, it's your typical Marvel Legends figure. There's nothing too extraordinary about it, other than, like I said, the likeness on the head sculpt without the helmet. That came out almost perfectly. A perfect accurate depiction of the Barry Windsor-Smith art style. Um, the accessories are fine, and other than like the minor issues that I have with like the butterfly not getting the full range going forward, and the little thing about the hip that bothers me, that it's not aligned perfectly well with the transition from hip to the thighs. Um, that bothers me a little bit, and also the minor issue with regards to the how the ball joint is cupped on the inside of the leg. One side being a little wider than the other, so that may cause issues in the future. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's a nice figure to own. Now you can, like I said, you can have your Weapon X transition to your street clothed Wolverine. We're getting another street clothed version of Wolverine for the X-Men '97 line, where he has the jacket and the cowboy hat, I believe. So that's coming. And again, we have the ex the Secret Wars version that would transition. Although his first appearance was the yellow and blue tiger stripe version, with the ears much shorter. So and then he transitions to the brown and yellow, and then back to the um, to the yellow and blue. So all of these versions of Wolverine can work with each other, and you can see like the progress of the character throughout his history. Um, of course, we're having the Gamerverse 2 pack coming out with Wolverine and the Silver Samurai for the Capcom versus Marvel, or not Capcom versus Marvel version. Um, that Wolverine, from what I've seen, is a little taller, so he might not work for your display if you're gonna have your Wolverines all in like in the same display. The new Gamerverse may look out of place because he's taller. I do have that one on pre-order, and I'm hoping, for it to arrive soon. I, uh, I've seen reviews of it from people in Australia, so that's what happened with the Psylocke 2 pack. I saw reviews from people in Australia get them first, and it makes its way through Europe, and then finally into the to the Americas. So I'm hoping that the pre-order gets moved up because originally it says November. So I ordered through Amazon. So hopefully the um, the pre-orders are start shipping soon, or within the end of the month. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Anyway, the so what do you guys think of this figure? Did you pre-order it? Do you have it? Let me know what you guys think about the figure. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.